All right, now that we've met the stomach and seen what goes on in there, we're going to move to the small intestine, starting with the duodenum. And a few things I'd like you to kind of understand before we get deep into those intestines is that, again, as I said, your intestine is outside your body. So if you imagine your mouth, then going down to the esophagus, the intestine is sort of like the esophagus in that it's a narrow tube. And what we'll see is that the lumen there, the lumen actually is the center of that. So as we talk about digestion and things like that, keep in mind that when I mention lumen, that is still outside your body, and that is the center. That is the center of this tube that we call the intestinal tract. The lumen is surrounded by the mucosal lining, sort of like the skin of your intestines, the mucosal lining of the intestinal tract. And you see here too that there's multiple layers. There's this submucosa, and there are more muscles. Just like in the stomach, we will want to be churning and moving and segmenting our food, our chyme now, moving that along the intestinal tract. And really what we're trying to do with the muscular actions of the intestines is to break up surface area so that these enzymes can act on the food and these small particles. We want to break that all up. Sort of like if you're trying to dissolve something, you'd want to shake it up and break it up so it dissolves better. Additionally, we can notice here that the accessory organs are going to start coming into play. The accessory organs are inside your body, but they have ducts that will transport whatever it is they produce to the intestinal tract. And as we continue on, we'll find that certain products can actually be recycled from the liver, for example, back into the intestinal tract. Two of the main organs we'll talk about here are the gallbladder, which releases bile, which is actually synthesized back in the liver. That's going to go through the common bile duct. And the pancreas, that's going to synthesize most of our pancreatic enzymes or most of our digestive enzymes in the duodenum. And that's going to come out through the pancreatic duct. So let's see what's going on there and what's happening exactly. So here we are back now. We've gone through the stomach here. We're moving down. There's a pancreas right below the stomach. The liver and the gallbladder are connected. That's one thing we didn't see in that last. You can see right there a little duct between the gallbladder and the liver. The liver synthesizes bile. The gallbladder secretes it. And we continue down there. Here's the duodenum in that early part, and we continue on with the small intestine. So what is then happening in the duodenum? Well, we'll see different actions. We see hormones that act in the duodenum or in the small intestine. Our first one is secretin. And secretin is going to help us start these secretory actions to get enzymes released into the intestinal tract. And some of the enzymes that we're going to talk about are amylases and lipases and proteases. Additionally, we'll see cholecystokinin coming in here. Cholecystokinin is going to, for example, trigger the release of buffers in the system. And lastly, we have gastric inhibitory protein. Gastric inhibitory protein, we're not going to spend too much time on that one, but that's actually triggering and regulating insulin. So insulin in the body is impacted to some extent by gastric inhibitory protein.